Welcome back, history lovers. Today we're diving into the extraordinary story of ancient Greece, a civilization that shaped our modern world. From legendary heroes to groundbreaking philosophers, join us as we uncover the secrets, battles, and brilliance that defined Greece through the ages. Let's embark on this epic journey together. Chapter 1. The Dawn of Civilization, 3000 to 2000 BC. In the mysterious lands of the Aegean Sea, around 3000 BC, scattered tribes began to evolve into sophisticated societies. These early Greeks, known as the Minoans, created the first notable civilization on the island of Crete. Palaces arose, most famously at Knossos, and with them came advances in trade, writing, and art. Minoan culture thrived for over 1,000 years, establishing far-reaching trade networks and creating a vibrant, peaceful society ruled by kings, priests, and artisans. However, this early society would face a sudden downfall. Around 1500 BC, the Minoan world was shaken, literally, by the eruption of a volcanic island called Thera, modern Santorini. The explosion devastated the Minoans, and the shockwaves of their downfall rippled across the Aegean. Chapter 2. The Mycenaean Age and the Age of Heroes, 2000 BC to 1200 BC. As the Minoan civilization waned, another culture rose to prominence: the Mycenaeans. They settled in mainland Greece, building fortresses like Mycenae and Tiryns, marked by massive stone walls and impressive tombs. This era gave birth to the legendary heroes of Greek mythology, such as Agamemnon, who would lead the Greek armies to the Trojan War. In this age, around 1200 BC, Greece's story intersected with myth. The 10-year-long Trojan War, immortalized in Homer's epic poem, the Iliad, depicted a legendary conflict that supposedly happened when Helen, the queen of Sparta, was taken to Troy. Heroic figures, Achilles, Odysseus, Hector, fought and fell, and the Greeks ultimately triumphed by cunning, hiding soldiers within a wooden horse to breach Troy's defenses. Chapter 3. The Greek Dark Ages, 1200 BC to 800 BC. Following the supposed end of the Trojan War, Greece descended into the Dark Ages. The palatial societies of the Mycenaeans collapsed. Scholars believe it may have been due to invasions, natural disasters, or internal strife, and whatever the cause, the result was clear. Greece lost its writing, its palaces, and much of its trade. For nearly 4 centuries, the memory of the once great civilizations faded. Yet, stories of heroes and gods were kept alive orally. Poets like Homer recited tales that would eventually be written down as the Iliad and the Odyssey. Out of this darkness, a new sense of identity and culture began to spark. Chapter 4. The Archaic Period and the Rise of the City-States, 800 BC to 500 BC. By 800 BC, Greece emerged from the Dark Ages, and small communities began to coalesce into what we know as the polis, or city-state. Each city-state was fiercely independent, governed by its own laws and customs. The most famous of these would be Athens and Sparta. Sparta, in the southern Peloponnesian Peninsula, was a military society where boys were raised to be warriors from the age of 7. Meanwhile, Athens developed a more progressive, intellectual culture, fostering the arts, philosophy, and most revolutionary of all democracy. This period also saw the Greek colonization of the Mediterranean. As populations grew and cities established colonies in places like Sicily, Italy, and along the Black Sea, their culture began to flourish, with the construction of temples, sculptures, and the codification of the gods of Mount Olympus, led by Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, and the 12 Olympians. Chapter 5. The Persian Wars, 500 BC to 479 BC. In 500 BC, a new threat loomed. The powerful Persian Empire, under King Darius, sought to conquer Greece. The Ionian cities, Greek colonies on the coast of modern-day Turkey, rebelled against Persian rule, sparking a conflict that would become known as the Persian Wars. When Darius invaded Greece, Athens and Sparta set aside their differences to stand together. In 490 BC, at the Battle of Marathon, the Athenians defeated the Persians in a surprising victory. But the Persians would not be deterred. Under King Xerxes, Darius's son, they returned with a massive army, sparking some of the most legendary battles in history. Thermopylae, where 300 Spartans under King Leonidas made their heroic stand, and Salamis, where the Athenians cleverly destroyed the Persian fleet. In 479 BC, the Greeks decisively defeated Persia at the Battle of Plataea, securing their freedom and launching a Golden Age. Chapter 6. The Golden Age of Athens, 479 BC to 431 BC. Following the Persian Wars, Athens emerged as a powerful, wealthy city-state, leading the Delian League, an alliance of Greek states. This era, led by statesman Pericles, saw the construction of the Parthenon, the refinement of democratic governance, and the rise of intellectual and artistic achievements that would shape Western civilization. Philosophers like Socrates began questioning the nature of morality and knowledge. Playwrights like Sophocles and Euripides wrote tragedies, and sculptors and architects set new standards for beauty and form. This was a golden age, a beacon of light and thought for the ancient world. Chapter 7. The Peloponnesian War, 431 BC to 404 BC. Yet, prosperity also bred rivalry. Sparta, suspicious of Athens' power and influence, led the Peloponnesian League to counterbalance Athens' empire. In 431 BC, war broke out between Athens and Sparta in a brutal conflict known as the Peloponnesian War. This war would rage for nearly 3 decades, with periods of uneasy peace and fierce battles on land and sea. The Athenians, weakened by plague and poor leadership after Pericles' death, eventually succumbed to Sparta in 404 BC. The once great city of Athens was humbled, and the Greek world was forever altered. Chapter 8. The Rise of Macedon and the Conquests of Alexander the Great, 359 BC to 323 BC. Following the war, Greece was weakened, and a new power rose from the north. Under King Philip II, Macedon defeated the weakened Greek states, uniting them under his rule by 338 BC. But it was his son, Alexander, who would change the world. Alexander the Great embarked on a campaign to conquer the vast Persian Empire. He swept through Asia Minor, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and all the way to India, spreading Greek culture and founding cities that would become centers of learning. By the time of his death in 323 BC, he had created one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. Chapter 9. The Hellenistic period, 323 BC to 31 BC. After Alexander's death, his empire fractured among his generals, leading to the Hellenistic period. Greek culture flourished across the Mediterranean and Middle East, blending with local customs in a unique cultural fusion. Cities like Alexandria in Egypt became centers of learning and innovation. The Greek world would eventually come under the influence of a rising power to the west, Rome. By 31 BC, after the decisive Battle of Actium, Greece was absorbed into the Roman Empire. Chapter 10. Greece under Rome and the legacy of ancient Greece. Although under Roman rule, Greek culture, philosophy, and language remained influential, even spreading through the Roman elite. The Greeks had woven a legacy that would last for millennia, influencing art, government, science, and philosophy. Ancient Greece's story is one of ingenuity, resilience, and profound influence. It shaped much of Western civilization, and its legacy endures in every democratic institution, philosophical inquiry, and artistic endeavor today. Thank you for joining us on this journey through ancient Greece. If you enjoyed exploring the past with us, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss another chapter from of history. Stay curious, Keep questioning, and remember, history is just as alive as we are today. Until next time, keep exploring the echoes of the past